all stations. This is flying for the North Air Coast Guard Radio. For new area forecast, this is flying for channel 04, up there channel 05.
My parents were, let's say, quite amazing in that respect with the sailing-wise, because they said, you know, before you travel the world, you have to travel your own country. So that's why we explored the whole of Denmark by boat and by car. Adventure sailing is where you do teaching, and also you take people to a bit more off the beaten areas, off the beaten track sailing areas like Shetland or Orkney Islands or Faroe Islands. And then I said, okay, in order to do that, I need a boat. And then since I'm from Denmark, we always see a lot of swans when I was a kid, so I always wanted a swan. And then by chance, a swan became on the market in Italy, and I made an offer for it, and on let's say 2019, 14th of February, which is St. Valentine's Day, I became the owner of Saga, which is the vessel I'm sitting on now, and it's still the honeymoon, so it's great. I'm really enjoying it, and I had a lot of crews on the boat already, and a lot of people are coming back, so it's great for me that what we're doing is the right thing, and people are taking something away from the trip here.
Before you travel the world, you've got to explore your own country. And after experiencing 3 lockdowns in the last 2 years, we knew that we needed to make this next adventure really count. So we packed our bags and set sail through the British Isles from Oban, Scotland to Plymouth, England, covering some 500 nautical miles.
This is where the boat is now. We are in Oban here. Yeah. The first tidal gate that we have here is down here. It's called the Great Race. Yeah, there's like whirlpools and everything here, and we have to go through here. So we, in this narrow strait, if the tide is running the wrong way, there's no way we can go through. Yeah. Our passage is quite long. It's 500 miles. Yeah. So we have to go from Oban down Mull of Kintyre, Mull of Galloway, all the way Isle of Man, Northern Ireland, all the way down Wales, the Bristol Channel, Celtic Sea, and then Isle of Scilly, where Vic is from. Yeah, and Land's End, and all the way over to Plymouth.
We set sail straight away for the Gia Island, famous for its ice cream. And the first day was great. A fair bit of wind and plenty of sunshine. You know, there is something about a tangle of strangers pressed together for days with the common goal of going from one place to another and experiencing a journey together. A journey where they also directly rely on each other in order to make it. I've never done any real sailing before. This was my first time, and being completely high on emotions and excitement, the first evening on the boat was absolutely gorgeous.
And we're heading at 150, 145. We shouldn't be heading more than 150 because there's a reef down there. And so we're keeping it below that. Just sailing, cruising past Northern Ireland, heading towards Belfast. We might drop anchor there tonight, depending on Storm Shannon. If she makes it over Ireland and gets to our sails, hopefully, then we can sail through the night, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen, so it might be a quiet, rocking night in the anchorage.
The first night was surprisingly warm. A full moon came out and it was easy to motor to the anchorage. So it's just gone 7:30 in the morning. It was an early start this morning. Woke up at about 5, had a bit of breakfast, put up the anchor chain, motored out a bit, and now eventually got the sails out, and we are prodding along quite nicely. There's about, what's the knot of wind that we have?
Knot is
7 knots of wind that we're having right now. And Yeah, these guys are on. They're going to be on duty for another hour and a half, and then they take over at 9. During the daytime, we pretty much all sailed together, taking to the helm in turns. In the evening, our group was split into 2 to take on the night shifts.
6 people on the boat, and we separated 2 teams, and we do shifts every 3 hours. And so far we have 1 night sailing. Well, it's quite interesting.
How do you feel after the sailing that night?
It's now we're feeling all right, but we wake up and 3 o'clock till 6, and that was killer.
My first night shift was from midnight to 3 and then 6 to 9. The midnight to 3, I think the most difficult part of both of them was waking up in the dark and just unzipping that sleeping bag, coming out of that warmth into the cold and damp atmosphere, and knowing that you have to come onto the deck, which is going to be cold and windy. But then when you do come out and you sit for a while, you get accustomed to it pretty quickly. Last night was quite misty and very cloudy. We didn't have the light coming from the moon like the previous nights.
We kept sailing for Falmouth, but the conditions were choppy. Wind against tide. We seemed to be tacking forever and ended up having to sail through 2 nights in a row. 350 nautical miles was a tough sail. We finally rounded Land's End, only to be met again with tide against us. It took all day to sail to the anchorage at Coverack Harbour. Meanwhile, below deck, the first mate in charge prepares the crew's dinner. What are you making?
Green Thai curry, but yeah, not the traditional one. Just pouring everything we have into the dish, including our hearts and souls.
How does it feel to cook on board?
Ah, it's great, lovely. You need to balance and chop and not cut your fingers off at the same time. It's exciting, living on the edge.
England initially greeted us with thick mist, but to our great surprise, the fog and the mist completely lifted in the morning, revealing the beautiful Cornish coastline and a fine Indian summer's day. It was warm, sunny and beautiful, and we even ended up jumping into the sea to go for a swim.
Straight towards the warm sun and into his hands. When I get there, I'll let my feet roll. When I get there, I'll break in your arms, I'll lose control.
I didn't expect the boat to lean so much on the angles. Like when there was strong winds, I didn't expect us to be like looking down into the water, so that kind of shocked me at first, but then you got used to it, so it was good after that.
What are you looking forward to the most when you get on land?
Oh, kebabs, bro. I need a doner kebab.
The next morning we sailed the remaining miles into Plymouth. Looking back at our voyage, maritime exhibitions are never without their challenges. There is something deeply saddening when you look back at a period in your life and realizing that you wasted some of it. That you were caught up in something, that you were doing something else, but you were not able to live in the moment and enjoy what you had right in front of you. In this journey, however, there is a common goal of battling through the elements and making it out alive. You're forced to be present in the moment, taking in life as it is, 1 nautical mile at a time. We came out the other side with a new sense of achievement, friendship and memories that will last a lifetime. Perhaps this raw engagement with life and the journey itself is what pushes us to go out on new adventures time and time again.
Although I only started sailing 3 years ago, it's every time I'm on the boat, I have that brief moment where I lose myself in the horizon and all their names come to mind. And I just think how lucky I am to be here with fellow sailors and enjoying life to the full. It's trying to live my life and the life that they didn't have.